Hey guys, XL Tech here. Just thought I'd give everybody an update on what's happening with the RTX3090 Mining Rig. So what I've been doing recently is actually I've started adding Raptoreum and mining Raptoreum on the actual rig with the i5 CPU that I purchased. So I've been following a miner called Raptoreum Mining, and he has lots of tutorials on how to set up Raptoreum and the profits etc on Raptoreum, and I'll put a link to his YouTube channel below, so go check him out. But basically from his videos I decided to set up Raptoreum on the RTX3090 Mining Rig. So what you need to do if you want to do that is basically come to this site called Raptoreum.com, and the actual Raptoreum coin or the blockchain, it's designed to actually work really well with CPU mining. So that's why I thought I'd put the i5 to work. So once you come to Raptoreum.com, what you want to do is actually, first you need to actually download the wallet. So click wallet, and you want to actually download the wallet. So depending if you're on a Mac or if you're on Windows, just choose what's most suitable for you. So I found it most convenient to basically download the setup.exe file. So basically once you download it, just run the executable file, and then once that's done you want to actually open the program, and it's called Raptoreum Core. So the first time you start this up, what it's going to do is actually try to sync up to the blockchain, and it's going to take quite a while to actually do that. So here I just closed this just for the sake of recording this video. So I'm here, it says I'm 6 minutes behind. So when you actually open the wallet, it'll say you're 30 days or 60 days whatever behind, and basically it needs to sync up basically in order to get the correct values for your wallet. So here basically you have a little button here that says hide. You can just hide it and it'll just basically let it run in the background. So the first time I actually downloaded the wallet, I just left it running overnight, and it was done pretty much in the morning. So you can see that the last 2 weeks I've been mining Raptoreum. I've made about 200 Raptoreum, which is not a lot because my hash rate is not very high. So I've got 3 CPUs basically running this at the moment. I've got the i5 on the RTX3090 Mining Rig, and on top of that I've got 2 office desktop CPUs with an i7 on them, and they're giving me a combined hash rate of roughly about 1,000 or 1 kilohash, 1,000 hashes. So once you actually download the wallet, what you want to do is actually create a receiving address on the wallet in order to receive the Raptoreum that you're going to mine. So here you want to come to receive, and basically label here, create a name for your receiving address. So I've just wrote test 4, and then click request payment, and here you're going to actually get a address. So this is the address that you're going to need in order to actually set up the miner later with this address to tell the miner where to send your Raptoreum once it's been mined. Okay, so that's just this part of basically setting up Raptoreum, the actual core wallet. So once you've done that, the next thing we need to do is actually download the miner. So if you click Cpuminer, it'll bring you to this page, and if you scroll down, if you're on Windows, you want to download this Windows version of the Cpuminer. So you'll see that it's in a .7z format. So you actually need to go and download this program here called 7zip in order to basically decompress the files. So come to 7zip and download this program, install it, and download Cpuminer and basically extract it somewhere on your computer. If you get blocked by your Windows Defender or your antivirus software, you need to add the folder as an exception to your antivirus. So once you've downloaded it, see I've got it here, you extracted the folder, you'll get this folder called Cpuminer, and these are the things that we're gonna see. So to set up basically the miner, we want to open this this file called config.json. Now once we're in here, you basically want to change the pool. So that's where we're going to be mining, right? The address where we're going to be mining, the pool. and you also need to put in your address here and give your miner a name. Okay, so for the pool, you want to come to miningstats.stream and find Raptoreum, and here you'll see a list of different mining pools that you can basically join. So Rapid Mining, when I've been watching his videos, he recommends joining one of the top 10 pools to actually mine with. He doesn't recommend this the second one here called Plant, but I initially started with O11 data, and I was mining that for the first week. And the second week, I've been trying a few of the different other pools closer to me in Australia. So I've currently using Oz Miners. So the difference between O11 data and Oz Miners I found so far with the 3 CPUs that I'm mining with 1 kilohash is that on O11 data I was getting roughly about 25 Raptoreum per day, and on Oz Miners at the moment I'm getting roughly about 15 Raptoreum per day. So I'm still testing the different pools to see which is best for me. So one of the things that Rapid Mining talks about is that you can join a pool with a lot of people on it with a very high hash rate, and you'll hit lots of blocks often. As you can see, the last one was 10 minutes ago. But you got to share that among a lot of other people. And he's got some videos where he did some tests where over 24, 48, 72 hours, over time, you might mine a little bit less with lots of people on this particular pool. So he suggested to go with a slightly lower hash rate pool with less people, so you get a bigger share of the blocks. But if you go too low, you're probably not going to find blocks that often, right? So that's why he recommends probably look at the top 10 pools here. So whichever pool you choose, doesn't matter. Once you go to their pool site, they'll usually give you the actual address for the pool here. So on Oz Miners, you basically choose what speed your CPU is going to be running at. So I already know my CPUs run less than 1 kilo hash. Okay, so that's why I've chosen this, and then generate. Generate the pool address. So the only difference here is that the port address is different. If you have a higher hash rate, the port number here is going to be a little bit different. So if you're under 1 kilo hash, that's for me, at least on this particular pool, I'm using the 3001 port. So basically you want to get this address here. So if you're not sure how fast your CPU mines, you can come to this site called minerraptoreum.com, okay, and you can actually put in the CPU that you have, and it'll give you a rough estimate of how much hash rate you get and how much you can possibly make per day. So if you got an AMD, select one of these. I have 2 of the i7 9700. So if I go 1, it's going to tell me that I'm getting about 862 hash rate, which would make me about 34 cents per day USD. So if you look at it'll just give you a rough idea to help you to choose, if you're on Oz Miners, the port that you want to use. If you're on a different port, what I've found is that Rapid Mining has chosen kind of like the middle port. So on O11 data, it's port 3008, which is the middle one. So I think the differences in the port, and if you guys can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, is that it's just different difficulty rate depending on the CPU that you have. So you can go for kind of this middle ground, so to if you want. So once you've chosen the pool that you want to actually join, the main thing is to get this pool address. Okay, get this pool address. You want to copy it, come back to your config.json file. Okay, so here for the URL, what you want to do is paste in the pool address. For the URL backup, you also want to actually paste in the address. Okay, and then for the user here, this bit here, the first bit is our actual wallet address. Okay, so if I open up this receiving address that I just created, I'm gonna copy this. Okay, come back to my config.json, and this is the address I want to put in here. So for the worker name, just name it whatever you want, so you know which worker or computer you're referring to. And that's basically all that's needed in terms of the config.json file. Now what Rapid Mining recommends also is when you hear, what we see here at the bottom is tune full. We want to make this true. Okay, so I think it starts off as false. We want to change this to true. So what the tune full does is that with this CPU miner, it actually creates a tuning file. So the first time it runs, it takes 4 hours to actually run the tuning, to tune the CPU to its best possible hash rate that you can get. So you can actually force it to go true. So the first time the miner starts up, it will detect there's no tune file, and I'll actually go and tune the whole miner to actually get the best hash rate. So you'll see that in my CPU miner folder, there is a tune_config file, and that's the tune file that takes 4 hours to actually complete. So if you want to retune your CPU, right, all you need to do is actually delete this file, and it will actually detect that there's no tune_config file when the miner starts up, and then it will actually do basically a tune to tune your CPU. So once you've got all these settings here, your pool addresses, your receiving address for the Raptoreum, the name, and tune.true, you want to save it, right? And then basically you just run the cpuminer.bat, run as administrator, and it will actually start running. So if I run as administrator, and you'll see that the miner is starting to mine now. Okay, you'll see that it's starting to mine now. So that's all you really need to do on Windows. It's fairly simple. Just set up that config.json file and then start the miner basically. Now if you're in HiveOS, it's a little bit different. Okay, so if you're in HiveOS, you want to come into your mine, right? Come into your farm, and then come into your rig, and you'll see here that I've got my T-Rex miner, which is on the RTX3090, right? It's giving the instructions to the RTX3090 to mine the SHIB tokens on unminable for me. And then second miner I've got here is the CPU miner, which is using the CPU to actually mine Raptoreum. So it's got a six cores, so it's basically using all 6 cores to mine. Now, in order to set this up, what you want to do is once you've come into your worker, you want to come over to flight sheets. So you might just have your GPUs running at the moment, and you might have one flight sheet. So what you need to do here is actually come over here and edit. And what you want to do is add miner. Okay, so when you add miner, okay, you want to choose RTM for Raptoreum. So in your wallets, go and create your Raptoreum wallet. So over there, you want to insert that receiving address for your wallet. Create wallet, and for the pool, it gives you some default pools that you can join, but because I'm currently on a pool that is not within HiveOS, I need to set it up manually. So if you're on O11 data pool or any of those other top 10 pools, you want to go configure in miner, and then you want to select here, you want to go CPU miner-opt. So once you've got that set up, okay, once you've selected all these, you want to go set up miner config. So I'm just going to show you the settings in what I've set up already. So make sure your settings here, first the algorithm is GR Ghostwriter. For the mining fork, you want to select GR, okay, and for here, the wallet and worker template, okay. So if you click this little I button here and go wallet worker name, it will actually bring this up, right? So this percentage wallet basically means it will insert your wallet address, and for worker name here, you can give it whatever name you want, i5 CPU, and then pool. So this is where you actually copy and paste your pool address from the pool that you're joining. and paste that in here. For the for the config override, we want to do the same thing as we did for Windows. Is we want to grab this tune dash full, quotation marks true, and we want to put that into here. So quotation marks tune dash full quotation marks colon space true. Okay, and that's going to do the same thing. It's going to actually force the CPU miner to do a tuning of the CPU whenever it doesn't detect the tune.config file. Okay, then you just apply changes, and then you update and save it, and that will actually then start the CPU miner. Now, the other thing that we want to be able to do in HiveOS is that we want to be able to delete the tune config file if we need to redo the tune. So in Windows, it's really simple. We just come over to the folder and we just basically delete the file. But in HiveOS, what we need to do is go to remote access, go Hive shell start. Now this is going to actually start the Hive shell, and the Hive shell allows us to access the rig remotely and give it instructions. So once Hive shell loads, you'll see this little arrow button here, right? So if we click that, it brings us into the Hive shell command, and this is what we're going to be seeing on the actual RTX 3090 rig. So once this command prompt or command line prompt comes up, what we want to type in here is go MC and enter, and this will actually bring up like a file explorer for us. So from here we want to actually arrow down to this directory called Hive. Press enter, and then we'll see over here, we'll see miners. So we want to arrow down to miners, enter this folder. Here we see our two miners, a T-Rex miner and CPU miner. So arrow down to CPU miner. In here we want to go down to /gr. So go into that folder, and here we'll see our tune_config file. So if we want to force the CPU miner to redo our tuning, we need to actually delete this file. So in order to delete this file, the first thing we need to do is actually select it. So arrow down so that it's highlighted in green. Okay, so once this is selected, you'll see in the bottom here we have a bunch of yellow commands: help, menu, view, edit, copy, remove, make directory, delete. So you might not be able to see this very properly, but there's actually a number 8 in that yellow highlight. So what these numbers mean is actually the function keys on our keyboard. So here for delete it says 8. So if I press F8 on my keyboard, it's going to give me this command: delete file tune_config, yes or no. So if I highlight yes and I click enter, it's going to delete this tune_config file. And so when I restart the miner or restart the rig, the miner is going to detect that the tune_config file is not there anymore. So it will actually start doing the tune again. So I'm not going to do this now, but that's how you delete the tune_config file in HiveOS. So that's basically how you set up, to mine Raptoreum on both Windows and HiveOS. So if I show you my results, like I said, the first week I was mining on O11 data, I was roughly getting about 25 Raptoreum per day, and on Oz Miners at the moment, I'm getting about 15 Raptoreum per day. So you'll see I have 3 CPUs. So I've got the i5 on the rig going. I've got the i7. So I've got 2 i7 CPUs, desktop CPUs, basically mining as well. So I'm getting roughly about 700 hashes on them and about 480 on the i5 on the rig. So I'm getting roughly about 1,000, hashes with all 3 of them running together. And so I'm making roughly about 100 Raptoreum per week. So I'm still, like I said, I'm still testing all the different different pools still, and they're giving different rates. But I might go and get some equipment to actually mine Raptoreum with. So that's basically it in terms of how to set up the Raptoreum. I'm pretty happy to be able to make a little bit of extra tokens on the side with the actual rig, and it's something that I hope everyone enjoys seeing me doing as I actually add more things to the rig. And so thanks everybody for watching the video today. I hope everyone's staying healthy and staying happy. And please like and subscribe if you liked the information, and if you want to continue seeing what happens with the RTX 3090 rig. So thanks for watching the video, guys. Stay healthy and happy. Okay, bye.